Yes, hello, welcome once again to the podcast that was made for you. Yes, you that are watching and tuning in right now and listening in right now, the Young Entrepreneur Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Angel, coming to you from Orlando, Florida. And I am so blessed and privileged to be here once again, to be with great people that are tuning in and watching. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your feedback. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate everyone who is part of this project that I started earlier this year. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm blessed because I have had uh, some ups and downs, right? Like all of us do and whatnot. But all of my guests have always come through. They've always given 110 to 150%, every single one of them. So if you've been on this platform before, thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. I'm very grateful to have you not only on this platform, but if I have built some kind of relationship with you throughout this time, I'm honored and grateful to have you as a friend and as a YouTuber, whatever they want to call it, or podcaster, host, etc., etc. So, guys, thank you again. As you know, as another Monday, I'm happy to be here because today I have a very special guest, a guest that I met through the Facebook channels and whatnot, and I started following and listening and looking at the material that everyone has. But in particular, this person, her name is Marie. She's from South Florida, right? And today she's joining me because today we want to talk about strategies that she's been using and that they have worked for her on strategies and how to build and grow your business for 2022. As you know me, I like to be ahead of the game. I like to be ready for countdown and whatnot, and getting ready and prepared for the next chapter, right? So today I want her on the show and I want her to share her story, share her tips and strategies as far as to what we can do as small entrepreneurs, small business owners. Whether you're small, whether you're big, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the size. It matters that what your intentions are behind what you're doing. And that's one thing about her is that found I found very intriguing is that she's about helping others. See, when I created this podcast, is to connect great-minded people, right? To connect great-minded business people that want to connect with others, and that's what she's about. She's about helping you grow your business. Of course, she's a professional. She's a CPA. She knows about the taxes industry. She knows about a lot, and of course, she's part of our the what we call a 10x family, our 10x group from Grant Cardone and whatnot. So we're just a bunch of entrepreneurs that are wanting to grow and grow together and help each other. So, guys, please help me welcome a woman that is about not only the experience, but she's about helping others. She's about uh, growing, helping you grow your business, helping you connect with other people and have success. So that's one of the key points that she has in her web page. So we're gonna be talking about many things. I'm gonna have all her information and all her website links here shortly. So let's go ahead and welcome her to the show. Marie, how are you?
Great, Angel. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being here. How do I pronounce your last name? Torossian?
Torossian. Yes.
Torossian. Okay,
You did
Marie
awesome. You did
Torossian.
awesome.
See, I got it the first try. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for taking out of your time because I know as a very professional woman and as busy as you are, I know that you have a tough schedule. You know, like we talked about before, we all within this business and just trying to every day grow. And I think that it's important that all of us grow together and get to know from one another. And that's why I created this podcast because I like to hear your story
Thank you.
hear about how you got not only to where you are business wise, but how you got to Florida. How'd you get? I know you have a wonderful story, and I want you to let's go ahead and start with that, Marie, because I know you're from Lebanon,
Yes.
right? And you came to this country, but you came to this country with I'll call it with a briefcase, a suitcase full of dreams. You came with a suitcase full of dreams, like all of us, right? Because all of
Of
us
course.
we immigrated from different countries and whatnot. And as immigrants, whether you were born here or not, we immigrate somewhere, always going to different places to learn the culture and
Mhm.
to fulfill our dreams. So, how about you? How did Marie uh, come to the U.S. and she came with that full of dreams and inspiration and whatnot? So, go ahead. Let's start with that story.
Sure, sure, absolutely. So yeah, my last name is actually Armenian, but I was born and raised in Lebanon. Just to make
Okay.
that clarification. And then, yes, I left Lebanon when I was 21 years old. I did have a detour before I came to the U.S. Actually, I went to Montreal with, since I had family there.
Okay.
And of course, looking for an opportunity to live a different life. My all of my childhood and my youth in Lebanon was literally, living during war, very difficult time, a lot of, bombing, a lot of, hardships. I've seen my parents struggle, so I just didn't want to have that for myself and the future of my family one
Your
day,
children, right?
my children one day. So yeah, the opportunity came. I did go to Montreal and I started, living and working there. My husband is actually from South Florida. He's Armenian as well,
Okay.
and which we connected, through a family member, matchmaking, Armenian
Ah,
matchmaking. I was refusing. It was not going to happen, but it happened. That's what it was meant to be. And we're still, of course, here, 17 years later, we're still married. We got two children. I've been in Florida for, 17 years now. So,
oh wow.
um, Florida has been a wonderful place to be. I went to Florida International University. I graduated with my bachelor's and master's there, and I've started my CPA career here. So I'm all Florida. I've been here forever, and I don't know. I'll
You're
probably
a
hear
Floridian. If you're more
forever.
than 10 years, you're a Floridian here now.
Yes.
You are now. You are.
Yes.
That's good. So when you moved here, I mean, when you left your country, like, because I saw it in your bio, like, you had these dreams, like you didn't want to be just another statistic, of something. You wanted to be
Yep.
a part of something big. So take us through that. Where was that born inside you?
Yeah. So, I knew that if I stayed in Lebanon, I was just going to be maybe a housewife. Not that anything is wrong with that, right?
Right. No, of
It's just
course.
I knew that there was something bigger I have to achieve.
Right.
I was a very business minded. I was helping my dad very early on in my life. I wanted to have my own business one day. I wanted to study, and it was difficult. Going to college there was very, expensive. I wasn't going to be able to do that. I knew I wanted to bring in get enough wealth to be able to come back and help Lebanon, help my own people, the Armenian people that have struggled and for many centuries.
Okay.
There's just so much that I want to give that I knew if I stayed in Lebanon, that was not going to happen. So actually, the way I believe I left was maybe a divine intervention. My grandmother actually took me on a tour of different monasteries. And during one of those monasteries where I was praying, I prayed for this opportunity to leave and have the
Wow.
opportunity to make this difference. Hopefully, something
Okay.
different would happen. And it did. A few months later, I got a visa out of nowhere, whereas least amount of expectation. And here I am on my way to Montreal, Canada. Woohoo! Coldest place
Wow.
you can even think of.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's cool. So then you left your country, then you came here, and what were
Yeah.
your goals then at that time? Like you're 21.
Yeah, I was 21 when I got to Montreal. And then when I came to Florida, I was 20, 23, 24, I think 24. I got married. I started, Miami-Dade College right away. My intention was always to first get my education going. That was my first goal because I knew
Exactly.
if I got my education right, then I know I'm going to have all the right opportunities come my way and be able to get, my career going sooner rather than later, because
Yeah.
I feel like I'm already getting a late start here. I'm
Yeah.
planning on getting to the U.S. at 24. I mean, I gotta get this education thing going.
Exactly. That's good. Yeah, because sometimes people just get comfortable and like, oh, I'm young, I got plenty of time,
Yeah,
and go to the parties and go party and hang out and stuff like that. But your mindset was totally different. See that mindset? You had that
yeah,
mindset, that
mindset. Yeah.
entrepreneur mindset. So then you start your business. Now talk about CPA because now, how long have you been a CPA?
I've been a CPA for about 12 years now. 12 years.
Okay, and
Yeah.
for those who are probably listening to the audio or watching the video, and maybe they don't know about CPA, like what
Sure.
does a CPA do? What is it
Yeah.
about? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when we graduate from our bachelor's or whatever, the master's of accounting, we have a choice of whether we want to become a certified public accountant. So, you can be an accountant, you can be a controller working for a private company. You really don't need to become a certified public accountant. Um,
Okay.
yeah. So when you become a certified public accountant, that's basically serving the public. That means you could go the route of being a tax CPA. You can go the route of becoming a forensics CPA, or you
Uh-huh.
can go the route of an auditor CPA. And so it's a variety of ways that you can become. You can use the CPA licensing. So you're
Okay.
serving the public. You're not really serving the client directly, technically.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. I learned something new today because
Yeah.
I didn't look at it that way.
Yeah. So, for
Okay.
example, in a tax way, you're doing tax filings, tax planning. As an auditor, you are going into your client's business and saying, "Well, let's look at your numbers, and do these numbers make sense? Does your bank can your bank actually rely on your numbers? Are you reporting things according to GAAP?"
Accordingly.
And they're going to give an opinion if it's a good one or a bad one. I'm not going to use technical words right now. I just want to keep it simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a forensics accounting, that's going to be more of like if there's an actual legal case, then those accountants are used to going into line by line details of transactions that they're following the numbers down to the nitty gritty. And there's
Oh,
a
okay.
massive amount of Excel sheets,
Absolutely.
3, 4 screens of data that they're interpreting and following the lines of making a case for a legal case. So
Okay.
that's very different type of work. So a lot of times when I introduce myself, Marie Torossian CPA, most people assume I'm a tax CPA, but I'm actually
Exactly.
either none of the three of them. And
Okay, see, that's good to clarify. Yeah,
yeah,
because now I'm understanding more of what you do. So, what made you become a CPA, and how did you get your business started?
sure. Yeah. So when I graduated, I was kind of following everybody else in the same, I guess, my friends and, my peers. When the firms would come to college, they were usually trying to hire for, the firms, which is the public accounting.
Right.
And most of my, they were questioning, like, you want to become, auditor or a tax accountant, auditor or tax accountant. So I was like, well, which way should I go? It was like a simple, okay, let's do audit. It seems more exciting. I don't want to do tax. So, if you want to be in the public sector, you are required to have a CPA.
Okay.
So I started studying, but I didn't stay in the public sector. I went into the private sector, about 2.5 years after, but I still got my CPA because I had already decided to get in. I don't know, maybe I changed my mind at some point and go back to the public
Yeah.
accounting. I decided to get my CPA and I'm getting it.
Uh-huh. There
Did
you
it.
go.
I did it, and it was difficult because I was working full time in the private sector. I was pregnant half the time, and the other half the time I had the baby. And so
Yeah.
I remember, like, 8, 9 o'clock at night, I put the baby down. I got my coffee. I got my stuff set up right away. Like as soon as I'm like, okay, now I'm going to study. It's like,
Wow.
not
Yeah.
now.
You see, but
But
that's
I put through that. I've pushed
yeah.
through that. Because there was, that intention of I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna
Let's
get
do it.
the license,
Wow.
whatever it takes.
Wow. Whatever it takes. There you go. Like gotta 10x that thing. Yeah, but see, that's awesome. See, that's very. Although it seems funny, but in between the lines, because I like to read in between the lines, is you had you had a desire. You had that energy. Like you had, although you had those distractions,
Yes.
between, you know, and of course having a newborn, someone would have said, okay, because there's different options that we have. You're gonna,
Of
okay, I have
course.
a newborn. Oh, you have the excuses. You know, I have a newborn. I'll set my goals and stuff to a side, and I'll
Sure.
do it later, and I'll postpone, I'll procrastinate. You know, I'll do it later. I'll do it later, and next thing you know, flies by, and then it's like,
Yeah,
what happened to those goals? You know what I'm saying? So that's interesting that you brought
absolutely.
that up. So when you started your business, because now I saw your website, which is an awesome website. I really love it, how organized it is and how detailed it is.
Thank you.
Like, yeah, absolutely.
I did.
How long ago you did it?
I did it.
Ah, there you go. See?
That's the creative side of me.
That's the creative side. I know. That's good. That's awesome because it's very detailed. It's very easy to have access to and research. So talk about when you created this. Of course, you created, like it says in the biography, to provide services. What, if someone reaches out to you, because I see here, like for example, an IRS audit will cost you, and I read
Yeah.
the blog on that. Because talk to us about that, because some people don't know how to go about that if they get into that situation.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I'll give you a very high level because since I don't do IRS representations, but I do work with other colleagues, my tax CPA colleagues that do that. But
Okay.
yes, but I will give you an example. So, this one actually, the blog came out of a conversation I had from a prospect. And I had not had this experience because since I've been always on the audit side, I've never experienced someone who would have had a situation where they didn't file taxes back to back, and eventually the IRS came after them. So I
Right.
was like, I don't know what to do. Right away, I had to call my tax colleague, and because we work together to serve our clients, and from that conversation, we even had our own little show. The IRS can basically come in and clear out the bank account completely. You
Okay.
know, so, and or if they didn't do that and something didn't trigger yet, what would happen is that as soon as you file something or try to get information, it flags it as something. Whoa, this person has not done anything for the past God knows when. It's going to trigger an audit immediately. So at that point, you really have to be ready for anything from having an attorney costs, the tax accountant costs, records that you have to now come up with and go back and find them. So, from our conversation, and my colleague, helped me kind of put it all together is, from an attorney, you're looking at least, $3,000 to $5,000 at least per year that you've forgotten to file because now they
Wow.
represent you for those years, and the tax accountant is going to have to do the same so we're talking it could be anywhere from 20 to 30,000 to do that. So I'm like, sometimes people just like let go of simple things that all you have to do is just file it. Even if you don't owe money, just file it,
Finally.
because you just by doing like just ignoring something simple like that, you're creating more of a problem than just
Headache.
just
Yeah.
just get rid of the headache. So yeah, so for me it was like a complete shock that I'm like, even if I was not an accountant or a CPA, I would not do that. I was like,
Yeah.
I was having like, oh my god, like what yeah. So that blog actually came out of an actual experience. I'm like, what would
Yeah, I
happen?
was reading that. That was crazy.
Yeah. So what I've tried to do is every time I have a conversation like this with a prospect, I realize these are such valuable information that I can share, instead of just saying, well, this is a service we do, this is a service we do, which is something I didn't know before. And I was just saying that. I realized this is a type of content that's really helpful for business owners and really will
Right.
help them understand what is really important. And,
Exactly.
they can, that I can help change their mindset about
Yeah.
how to do it. You know?
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
important. People seem like that's not important, but that's important topic. I would hate to be in that situation, but
Yes.
there are professionals. There is help, and there are professionals that
Yes.
know what they're doing that you have to consult with. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, sometimes the mindset is so bad that they might be so cheap, and I hate to say it, but it is. The mindset is that they're so cheap to pay, let's say $500-600 for filing taxes or whatever it is that they owe to the IRS to pay it. But then the other hand is that they don't see how worse it could be if they don't file it. So my point here is that don't think so small. Think about the worst case scenario. What would happen if you don't do this now?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That is
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you for sharing that, Marie. So,
Yeah.
let's talk about a little about the strategies for growing your business for 22. What strategies do you use? I know, but you have a book, which I do want to talk about, the complete guide to business
Hmm.
growth. I'm
Hmm.
gonna be posting that with after the show, so people can see that, and I've seen
Sure.
it on Amazon as well. So, how did you come about for that book? First of all,
Yeah, so that book is an expansion on my initial ebook that I wrote, which was the a business owner's guide for operational accounting. Because, and majority of my knowledge is based on the operations of the business and how accounting helps the operations of the business, right? So
okay,
there's certain other areas that as I started my business, let's say the marketing, the legal entity, and all those pieces that I kind of had to teach myself and figure it out as I go. So when I first wrote the ebook, it was based on some of the blogs I had written already, so I could kind of put it all together. And it was kind of an easy thing to do. And but I was like, there's still so much out there that needs to be written. And so then the next one was like, okay, I got to take this and make it a little bit bigger and then kind of expand into all the other pieces that business owners should know, which would be more like, okay, from the start to end, all the different things such as the legal entity, the marketing pieces, the locations, and then it goes into a little bit more of the operation where it's, okay, the business plan, the projections, the operating,
right,
efficiencies, accounting, credit, And to be
wow,
honest, I have used someone to help me do the research. As a solopreneur, I mean, it's impossible for me to do everything
yeah, it
myself.
is, yeah,
So, and I'm all transparent about having to have someone help me write the book. I'm not going to lie about that. So, but to the point for me was beyond just saying, okay, I just put this thing out there. It's more like I do know that they need this information, and instead of someone going out there researching themselves for hours and hours, I know that I can have someone help me put it all together, and
right.
someone can go in one place and find it.
That's awesome. Now, also, I see that because you're also, other than a CPA, you're a transformation coach. So talk
Yeah,
to us about that. What is a transformation coach, and how do
yeah.
you go about coaching
Yeah.
others?
So when I say transformation coach, it's not like I'm this certified coach. I call myself a transformation coach and a CPA advisor because I am using a specific approach into how I help businesses go from their first million to their next 10 million. So I'm
Okay.
combining the auditor knowledge that I have built over my initial career, and then the controller CFO knowledge that I've built over the following 10 to 12 years, including being a consultant and seeing different industries, into what I've created is the VALUATION-MT framework. So with that, what I try to do is, and I've put it in my list here so that I can go over it with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so that way we can, tell our audience exactly the process that I'm using. So I start with evaluation, evaluating the business. So I know this is something that most business owners don't, think of it. Oh, well, if I'm going to sell the business, I'll value it. But it really is something that's so available right now with the software that could do it within, hours instead of, or if not less. If you
Okay.
have the data available, it could be done within minutes. Which, a traditional valuation can take, so long. And then it could cost anywhere 20, 30,000. And then now a valuation, could be about 5,000. And then the next thing I would do is just make sure their financial data is accurate. So if you have bad data in the system and your system is not, reconciled, we can't use any of that data for anything. We can't build any information out of it. That means even your valuation could be wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. And so then we leverage cash flow. We set up the cash flow management system into the business.
Okay.
And that could be through a software as well. And we watch, let's say, how long it takes for a business owner to collect their cash and if they're actually paying their bills in a timely manner. Or are they paying too early or are they paying too late? They should stay within the terms that it's allowed.
Right.
So that
Okay.
way they're not overusing their cash or under, you know what I mean? So there's
Yeah,
this,
yeah. So
no,
is the QuickBooks program that you recommend, like QuickBooks or something like that?
QuickBooks has that. They just added that. I actually don't like their planner. I keep sending
Oh, okay.
feedbacks. But
Oh, I just mentioned the
another
link because
one.
that's the most one that's
Yeah,
familiar, the most familiar.
yeah. So they do have that, but there's another one that's called a cash flow frog. That's a separate app that you can connect with QuickBooks, and I think that that one has a lot better features in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, the other one that I'm using is, when we're looking at profit drivers, let's say the way they're billing,
Right.
we use, menu pricing strategies. So we kind of build value when we're creating a price for their services or their products. For example, and none of my services are hourly. Most CPAs charge hourly or they charge like a retainer
Oh,
type
yeah.
of thing. I don't. I actually provide three packages by service or the type of thing that you want to do. I don't have any kind of hourly rates. So I work very differently, right?
Yeah,
Everything
absolutely.
that I do is what I'm trying to do for my clients to help them change and transform their business.
Right.
The other thing that we do is also, building policies and procedures. One of the things that I've seen when businesses get to a certain point, they're million, 2 million, they're just kind of going without any specific procedures. Like, for example, I've seen people spend money, but there's no reimbursement policy. They travel and then there's no travel policy. There's no marketing spend policy. There's no policies. Just things are going and coming and there's no
Okay.
policies anywhere.
Yeah.
So how would you know? Like if an auditor came in, they're going to be like, you got a lot to fix here. So what I do is I bring a lot of that auditor background and make sure they have all these policies written up. So we go do walkthroughs and then say,
Yeah.
okay, this is your process. This is now we're going to build in the proper procedures, and then this is how you're going to do from now on. So those are the things that will help transform the business. Of
Okay.
course, we'll do monthly analysis of the financial data,
Yeah.
help the business owner trim down any additional costs, operate effectively, and then of course build projections so they can have a map that they can navigate with, right?
Exactly.
And of course, build KPIs to constantly monitor progress. So this is all pieces of that transformation that I would do, and that's why I call myself a
Um,
transformation
that
coach.
transformation coach, that makes a lot of sense. Oh my God. So what do you suggest any business owner should do to grow their business in 2022? Whether it's even if it's the most smallest business. People think it's business. They think that they have to have uh a location with a
Mhm.
physical address. Business could be a business from home,
Of
whatnot.
course.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so for me, and like for example, I could be a business from home, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm a service based, and I'm actually virtual. I built my business virtual back in 2018.
Wow.
For me, the biggest thing has been focusing on my marketing. Marketing has
Ah,
been the most
yeah.
important thing that I even didn't realize that I would need as much.
Yeah.
I you know I remember 2018. Yes, I built my website. I started putting up my all my social media pages. I knew these things were necessary. I created
Absolutely.
some posts, but without no strategy. I was like, I don't know. I'll put some stuff, motivation. I'm good at that. you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But there was no strategy as to what the point was, and I was not sure what to do. So I actually personally had to learn a lot of marketing skills. And I think for 2022, and I've done a few webinars too, it's going to take even more of being available to our audiences and giving them value with all
Absolutely.
our knowledge, especially
Yeah,
in the service industry.
you nailed it on. I mean, you nailed it with marketing. I'm such a fan of marketing because I have people that I know that are not too. it doesn't matter if you're too knowledgeable or not with marketing, with these social media
Right.
platforms, but just use them. Just start practicing. That's how
Sure.
even myself with this podcast, I never thought I would, in 2020 I'd be doing a podcast because I at the beginning I thought,
Either.
yeah, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to name it? What are we going to, what I'm saying? It's like so many, but
Yeah.
as you go, you start getting better and you start learning new things. And I think that's what it's all about. So, we have the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You like I tell people, use those platforms. They're there for a reason.
Sure.
They're there for
Sure.
business. So, and speaking of that, you do have your YouTube channel,
Yes.
Marie Torossian CPA. Now, it was funny because I was watching one of your videos. Says, what do actually CPAs talk about? Because you talk with other CPAs. So, what is the podcast about? Is it just CPAs
Yeah.
or?
Okay. So this is how my kind of this show came about. It's a coffee time with
Okay.
Marie and Pedro.
Oh
So
yeah.
Pedro is my CPA tax colleague. So he actually does a lot of the tax work for my clients. And so we both are pretty much virtual, and we've been working together for about a year, and then we always have these awesome conversations on the phone randomly talking about our experiences. And this one day, not too long ago, middle of the year, I was like, Pedro, do we have like these awesomest conversations like offline? We should go on Zoom and record them. And then it just hit me at the same time I said that. I'm like, maybe we should do them live. And then we just went from, and we couldn't find a name, so we just said, well, we could just call it Coffee Time with Maria and Pedro.
Wow, that's
Instead of
awesome.
just overthinking, let's just go with
This
Coffee
way.
Time with Maria and Pedro. Just if you guys wonder what CPAs talk about, behind the scenes, kind of like that was the idea, and we talk about like super valuable information, like things that we actually encounter with our prospective clients or clients, problems we solve, and then it actually becomes our subject, because truly that's what has happened to us. We're just talking on the phone, and this is what happened. We just took
Using
it
your
on as a
experience.
show.
Yeah, you're using your experience, talking about your experiences and whatnot.
Exactly. And that
Wow.
became, a way where we tap into now. We can use it as our way to create social posts, So like marketing, like we said, it's now something we're doing. It's going to become a dual format. We put it on a Podbean as a podcast. We're just doing multiple things, and it helps him get clients. Helps me get clients. So it's all about marketing strategies in 2022, really.
That's it. Marketing strategy. So there you go. There you have it, folks. Marketing strategy. Market yourself. It's for
Make
free, man. I
yourself
tell people these
great.
platforms are free. All you have to do is have an internet service. That's about it. But other than that, everything else is free to use. And why not? As long as you stay within the what is it? The disclosures and the rules and
Oh, of
regulations.
course.
You don't
Yeah.
violate any regulations. Facebook and Instagram, YouTube, they're not gonna block you as long as you stay between those guidelines and whatnot. So
Yeah.
I say this. This is a tip that I want to give everyone. There's five people that you need to have in your life as close friends to you. Number one, a doctor. Number two, a lawyer
Where?
of any kind. Tax consultant, CPA, right? I would say a priest, right? A
Mm-hmm.
pastor and whatnot. And
Yes. Yes.
number five would be a partner, spouse.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the
I love that.
five people that you have to have close to you. Yeah, because imagine lawyer, who doesn't need a lawyer at some point?
Everybody.
A doctor, a person that knows what they're doing with taxes, a religious, a priest or whatnot, religious
Yes.
person and whatnot, and then of course your business partner and whatnot, your spouse that can help you in your business and whatnot. So listen, Marie, I think the time has flown by. It's been great to know you. I know you're busy, so I don't want to take too much more of your time.
It was a
But
pleasure.
yeah, thank you, Marie. What are you gonna have another book maybe in the future?
Yeah, I think the next one would be more of a. It would be more focused on the valuation-MT process.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's something
Oh,
that's copywriting right now, and it could
okay.
possibly become a more of a very focused book.
Good, good. So I do have for people who are watching, they can follow you on your Facebook at Marie Torossian CPA, correct?
Yes.
And then your YouTube channel, which is I like that channel. You know, having a coffee with your friend there.
Yeah.
It's under the Marie Torossian CPA there as well. And then your website, very important. That's your website there, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. And of course, she also has her Instagram under her name there, CPA. So thank you, Marie. I appreciate your
Thank
time.
you.
I'm looking forward. If anyone wants any of your books, they're available on Amazon, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. The ebook is free. It's on guide.marietorossiancpa.com, and then the other book is on Kindle.
Perfect, perfect. So, Murray, thank you so much for those tips, those strategies. I'm definitely going to apply those. I'm going to be doing more marketing actually for 2022. I'm looking forward to an exciting new year. I hope that you and your family stay blessed as well.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
2022, I hope that it turns out to be an even better year than 2021 and any other years you've had. So.
God willing. God willing.
Yeah, yeah. So many blessings to you, Marie. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
It's
you.
been an honor and blessing to have you here. So 10x, man, 10x.
10x.
Yeah. So best wishes to everyone over there, and take care. I'll be in touch with you. Okay.
Sounds good, Angel. Talk to you
Okay.
soon.
No problem. No, don't go nowhere. I'll be right back. Don't go
Yeah.
nowhere. All right, folks. So there you have it. Thank you again for joining the Young Entrepreneur Mindset Podcast. I'm going to see you on the next show next Monday, the 22nd at 7 p.m. Actually, at 6 p.m. I'm going to confirm and I'll give you guys more details. But guys, remember, strategies, those strategies for a new, for those business growth for next year. Like you said, marketing. Marketing is the key. So, guys, market yourself, do what you gotta do, and I'm gonna see you on the next show. So, guys, thank you again. Once again, if you're into any natural products, go ahead and feel free to. I'm gonna post the links down below for my natural supplements. There it is right there. I do have them here. They're great. Okay. And also my business that I run here in Orlando for the dry mailbox. You guys already know. So look them up. There's a website there. And before I leave, I do want to leave you guys with a wonderful scripture that I love. Is one of my favorite proverbs, and it's in Proverbs 15, chapter 15, verse 16 and 17, and it says, better to be poor. In other words, it's better to be poor and fear the Lord than to be rich and in trouble. And it's better to eat vegetables with people you love than to eat the finest meat where there is hate. Wow. That is very clear. So, guys, thank you again. I'll see you in the next show. And I hope you guys have a great rest of the week, a very successful week, and a very blessed week. I'll see you soon. Take care, peace, and I'll see you soon.